Tia siti yako usingizi, anajifanya amelala. Juu ya TV.
Mheshimiwa. Fika salama. Mheshimiwa. Sasa mama. So anaendelea stringing. Inamaliza kesho ama
Yes, Edwin Kigera.
Yes.
What is it you are raising up your hand? Madam is in.
Oh, that was by accident. I
Usijali
didn't raise my hand.
Usijali ni hali ya kujifunza. Madam is in. Mr. Mwai, make Madam Beldin the host so that she continue with the lesson. Mr. Mwai, please. I can see Madam Beldin is there. Yes.
Weird.
Madam Beldin, you can now go on.
Fine, thank you.
Yes.
Good afternoon, students.
Nini? Oya, ona hiyo na hii. Aya, urudisha mchele wangu hapa.
Okay, let's get going. After we did our field work last week and even the other week, we were through and we have told ourselves we would come for conservation and management of the environment. Yani mnapiga tu kelele.
Mute them on your side. Mute all the participants, Madam Beldin, on your side.
I wanted to start with them. We communicate first of all. Let me mute them.
Yeah.
Mnapiga tu kelele. But it's good to start them off when we are communicating. Okay, now just be listening the way you want it to work. After field work, we are on conservation and management of the environment, and we can define those for the three terms. We did environment in Form 1, environment in Form 1, and we said environment is the external conditions that influences the behavior and development of organisms. Could be plants, could be animals. That is the definition of environment. And we realize we have two types of environment, which are physical environment, and the second one is human environment. Some books put it as social environment. So those three terms are the ones we are interested in today, very, very much. Then why should we keep our environment clean or well-to-do? Reasons are many, very many reasons. And why did people think of keeping this environment clean or sustainable? Because environment is not an individual's area or space. It is a space for every country, every individual. Therefore, we need to keep it clean, like ocean, seas, the air itself, the winds. All these are all over. No boundaries for them. Therefore, we need to keep them clean and available. They are good resources. So that is why we are interested in studying the management and conservation of the environment. As we can see from our screens, the environment refers to external conditions which have influenced the behavior of organisms. We have plants, animals, and even human beings. Yes, we are under animals for our survival or their survival and activities. That is environment, what surrounds an organism, external. Then the types, physical, the natural physical conditions of weather, climate, vegetation, animals, soil, landforms, and drainage. All those are under them clean or safe for consumption. The next one, the human and social environment, including human activities such as farming, forestry, mining, tourism, settlement, transportation, trade, and industry. All these are human, under human environment, and we need to make them be safe and available for us to have the economic activities helping us as humans. Okay, biodiversity or biological diversity is a term used to refer to a variety of life that exists in a given living environment. Management. Management, what comes into our mind when we talk of management? Management of our environment is the planning and implementation. You don't just plan, no, planning and implementation of the plan to ensure effective and proper utilization of the available resources in the environment. The available resources in the environment. Human beings are the custodians of the living environment and therefore have the responsibility of managing it. Management should be the planning. You plan to do all this so that we don't lose track, we don't lose the resources. They need to be there for future generation. So we manage by planning. Conservation. Environmental conservation is the protection. Get it right. Management was planning and implementing. Conservation is the protection, preservation, and proper utilization of the resources in the environment. Conservation is regarded as the process of preventing something from loss, waste, damage, or destruction. That is conservation. If we don't conserve, if our great parents did not conserve the forest and all that, we would not be having the forest now, or even conserving the environment, the wild environment for the animals. We would not be having some of them. Some might have gone for extinction. So it is good to conserve our environment. Why environmental management and conservation is very necessary. Why do we conserve? There are few reasons and we need to have them at our fingertips. Sustenance of human life. We conserve so that human life can be sustained. The environmental management and conservation is geared towards ensuring adequate food supply to the ever increasing human population. I know some of us may not stay a whole day without food. they'll just go sick completely. And we conserve this environment so that it can sustain our lives. For example, adequate food that is mentioned there. Food shortage stagnates economic growth. If food is not available, it would be very difficult, very difficult. If it is less, still people may not have even the energy of continuing with economic activities. The second one, aesthetic value, beauty. Human beings appreciate beauty. The natural resources like landscape, wildlife provide beautiful sceneries for recreation and tourist attraction, aesthetic value. When we talk of landscape, we have very nice valleys, we have mountains, we have rugged terrain, we have different landscapes, and they really get hold of our attention at times. For those people who are good at touring, they'll make it very interesting for them. We have wildlife, including the animals and even the plants, fauna and flora, very, very important for recreation, and it aids the tourist department. So that is the second reason why we keep our environment clean and conserved. Then we have protection of endangered plants and animal species. Some animals and plants are found in small numbers. It is therefore important to conserve them so that they don't suffer extinction. Example, we have the white rhino down there. White rhino down there. We can look at it. How many have seen this? They are very rare. So if they are not conserved, the future generation may not have an element of how they were looking like. So we need to conserve and manage our environment. Economic value, the amount and value of resources found within a nation's borders or boundary determines the wealth of the nation. Once exploited, natural resources are sold to earn income. We conserve, we manage so that we have economic value. When these resources are exploited, then they are processed and we can get our income. We can get our income, whether through exportation or through sales locally. It will boost the economy of a country. Then protection of water catchment areas. We realize that water is very important in the face of the world. Be it plants, be it animals, water is very key. If it is not sustained, if it is not conserved, managed, then obviously there'll be great problems. A regular supply of water in our rivers is important for HEP generation, domestic and industrial use. We understand that correctly. From morning, I know we've taken water, we've bathed, and water, water, water. Next one, for future generation. Resources to be used carefully and to ensure thereof continuity to serve the future generation. to conserve the future generation. Very, very important. That is why we need to conserve and manage our environment for future generation. Our great-grandparents did it, our fathers did it, we are doing it, and we pray that if Jesus shall have not come during your time, you preserve this for your own children, and the lineage goes on. To curb global warming, which is a threat, global warming, polar bears may become extinct due to melting of ice caps. Due to melting of ice caps, floods at the coast due to raised temperatures. When we don't conserve our environment, we are talking of global warming. Temperatures have been raised highly because of the depletion of the ozone layer. That means we have melting of ice caps, and when it melts, we will be having a problem of these animals. They'll be dying. The bears, the polar bears, their habitat is that cold area. When ice melts, they'll go to extinction. So it is very, very important to keep that in mind. Environmental hazards, there are very many, very, very many. And I would like you to put them down in your notebook. First of all, put them down. Put them down in a skeleton form, and this time everybody will give us something on what he knows about these hazards. Hazards are like risks. They are not problems, but they are risks, they are danger, disasters. Those are the ones we refer to as hazards. So we have very many that have been selected, like floods. You'll tell us something small. You are many. You'll give me what you know about this. Lewis, unasikia, you'll give us something on floods. Floods, something small, what you understand by it. Very small, usiogope. Edwin Gikera, lightning. Perhaps you are coming from lightning prone areas. Edwin, lightning. Then I have Alan Ndungu. Alan Ndungu, you'll give us something on windstorm. These are the selected hazards or dangers or risks. Alan Ndungu. Then tropical cyclones will go to Ndwati Alan. Tropical cyclones. Then hakuna mtu anaitwa Kenton. No, sasa ni nani huyo? Ian Guaro, you'll give us something small on on water spouts. Guaro. Tornadoes, Victor Kimani. Tornadoes, what you are remembering, even if it is just one element, one fact about tornadoes, you'll give us. That is Victor Kimani. Victor Kimani for Northeast. Then blizzards, Alex M. Blizzards, Alex M. Pests and diseases, we are taking it to Austin Gura. Austin, pests and diseases. Locusts, Alvin Kibanya. Sassaflies. Brandon Morioki. Sassaflies. Mosquitoes and snails. Will go for Eric Mwendwa. Rodents and weevils. Churu. Then we are going for birds. As pests, we are on pests now. Ryan Mwangi, birds. Learning is both ways. You'll tell me what you have for this. Fungi, bacteria, and viruses. Andrew Karaoke, fungi, bacteria, and viruses. Andrew Karaoke. Then epidemics. Samuel Gakinya. Epidemics, Samuel Gakinya. I've left something, weeds. Anything that you know about weeds. Ondari Okemwa. Weeds. Ondari. Then pollution, who has not been assigned any. Duncan Mwangi. Pollution, land pollution. Duncan Mwangi. Land pollution. Noise pollution will go to Timothy Kamau. Noise, Timothy Kamau. Then air pollution will give to sioni watu wengine wameenda. When Philemon, when air pollution. When Philemon. The last one is water pollution. Water pollution will give to Francis Mulwa. Just something small, musiogope. You'll give us what you know, whether they are harmful, whether they are good, their types, something like that. So let us start this by unmuting all of you. Please don't make noise. You'll give us just something very small, then we will go deeper into them later. Environmental hazards. Lewis. 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 Unanisikia? Edwin.
Yes.
Edwin.
Yes.
Unanisikia?
Yes.
Sawa sawa. Let's start with Lewis. Let's be orderly. Lewis, tell us what you know. You can give us the definition. You can give us just something small on floods.
Floods occur when there is excess rainfall and lakes and riverbanks overflow. Therefore, they break their banks. Yes.
Very good. Excess water that cannot fit within the river channel. Very, very good. You've done your part so well. So the rest we will know later. Lightning, Edwin. Edwin. Bukera.
Yes.
Yes, kitu kidogo tu. Lightning. Unatoka wapi? We have areas where lightning is very prone. Wewe unatoka wapi dunia hii?
Nairobi.
Wewe ni mtu wa Nairobi tu. Not known in Nairobi, but tell us what you know about it. I
Lightning.
said you could give us meaning, you could give us disadvantage, anything that you know about lightning, whether it is the areas where it is common, just give us something.
Lightning usually causes fire outbreaks in forests, or leads to burning of property. It also it also strikes, for example, electricity posts. So it interferes with electricity supplies and maybe installations.
Good. You have something on the so-called lightning. Thank you so much. We are going for windstorm. Alan.
Yes.
Alan Dungu. Yes, lightning. Windstorm.
Windstorms are strong, powerful winds. They cause damage to the environment, like houses, rooftops, and trees. Yes, that's all I mean.
Yeah, they are very powerful winds that would destroy whatever they find on their path. Yes. That is okay. That word, very powerful, wind, the strength is so great. That is a good description. Tropical cyclones, Duarte, Alan.
These are low pressure systems which have isobars that form a circular shape, and as wind blows towards the center, they form an upward spiral of air which causes destruction to the environment.
Thank you. At least is even seeing one on the screen, and he's managed to describe it so well, so well. Low pressure regions for tropical cyclones. Very good. Water spouts, Guaro. Guaro. Guaro, usiseme you're not there. Guaro amekataa kutuambia. Guaro. Ian. Water spouts. Water spouts, water lifted high to some meters on this from the surface of the sea, and they can really do a lot of harm to fishermen by capsizing their boats. That is a water spout. Tornadoes, Victor Kimani. Tornado. Victor?
Yeah.
Yes, tell us what tornadoes are or what they can do, how they behave. Anything that you remember?
Tornadoes usually cover a small area, and they are accompanied by heavy rain and thunder.
Heavy rain and thunder. Tornadoes, are they from the ocean or they are from land?
They're like tropical cyclones, but on land.
On land. And they are very speedy, up to 330 kilometers per hour. Thank you. We are on the next one, and blizzard. 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 Alex. Alex, what are blizzards? In your opinion? It's not the first time you are hearing that. Alex?
Yes.
Tell us what blizzards are.
Sure, I don't have any idea.
No idea, but have you heard of that word?
No.
No. Blizzards are like the wind storms, but they occur in temperate lands where we see ice or snow. So that is where they're coming from, and they can be hit on the ground. They may make visibility very, very difficult. So for us, we are in the tropical region. Blizzards are commonly in the temperate regions. They are like windstorms. Okay, the next one, pests and diseases. Austin, Jura. It's good to hear from you. Not one-sided. So, Jura, Austin. Austin. Austin, wacha mchezo. Pests and diseases. What are they? Austin, umeenda underground? Okay. Pests and diseases. Yes. Pests and diseases. I said we give anything, negatives, positives, definitions, anything about what the hazards are. So none of us has been sick. We don't know what they are. Victor? Eric Mwendwa?
Yes.
Victor? Kwani kuna technical problem ama ni nini? Edwin?
Yes.
Save us. I know you have done your part. I don't know whether there's a problem, technical problem or something. We were on Austin. Austin, are you back? No. Victor,
Yes.
assist your brother. Anything on pests and diseases? Anybody? Pests and diseases. Anything on them?
Excuse me, madam.
Yes.
In pests and diseases, can we say that these pests and diseases affect like people and animals in such a way that they can make the animals and people to die and hence cause a shortage, no, like reduction in population?
Yes, that is one effect, one negative effect, which is okay because it was very open. You could say anything about them, or even mentioning an example of a pest, mentioning an example of a disease. That is what we wanted. So you've done well. Somebody else on pests and diseases? Somebody else? Musikimie churu. Ndungu Alan. Saa nyinyi watu wa aina gani?
Yes.
Churu.
Yes.
Sema.
Poa tu.
Anything.
Pests are and diseases. Okay, mainly pests lead to diseases. They cause a lot of destruction to livestock and even wild animals, and even some species of trees suffer some diseases because of pests. This cause destruction of the environment because they die off, leading to, yes, destruction.
A very good answer. And you're just quiet. Kwa nini? Even trees like the aphids. Very good. Okay, we move on to the next person, Locust Kibanya. Kibanya Alvin. We are almost through, then we'll start from the first one, going systematically, knowing a lot about them. Kibanya, Alvin, Locust. Just before the corona, there was an outcry of locusts in northern Kenya, sweeping all the green vegetation in the area, and people were wondering, and some of the green vegetation are food for us, for human beings, of course, and even animals. Although some others were making fun that they would eat them as food in the western part of Kenya. So those are locusts. They are in swarms. There are many. When they come to a place, a farm, they'll clear the area of green leaves. Then flies, Brandon, Ryoki, give us something on that. Flies, or even where they are infested. Flies, we know in our Kenyan case that they are very common in Lambwe Valley, which is supposed to be called Olambwe, but I think there was a problem in spelling. So even when we talk of Lambwe, it is still accepted. Miombo woodland, Soga in Uganda, Miombo in Tanzania. They are flies that are very, very dangerous on humans and even on animals. The Nagana and the sleeping sickness, we know about them. Those are the things that I want you to mention. Then mosquitoes and snails. Eric Mwendwa. Eric. Yes, give us something small on mosquitoes and snails.
Yes, so mosquitoes and snails are small organisms that are normally found in waterlogged areas because the stagnant water provides suitable environment for their breeding. And mosquitoes spread diseases such as malaria, while snails spread bilharzia to people, which can cause a lot of harm. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mwendwa. Rodents and weevils, churu, please. Rodents and weevils. Churu. Even examples of them. Rodents. Churu. Francis Mulwa. Umewaona weevil? Mulwa?
Yeah.
Umewaona weevil?
Yes.
Describe how they are. What you saw?
They look like termites. Zinapatikana kwa chakula.
Kwa chakula?
Yes.
Kwa chakula kama gani?
Like maize, the one stored in huge amounts.
Very good. And they are given very special sticks to crush the maize, the cereals in general. Utapata tu kama ni unga already. They destroy them that much. And rodents, kama gani umeona?
Panya.
Panya. Very good. You've given us something on rodents and weevils. Churu ameenda off kidogo. We are on Andrew karaoke. Andrew?
Yes.
Yes, Andrew, tell us something on fungi, bacteria, and viruses.
So fungi are non-flowering plants that exist in the environment. Bacteria are single-celled organisms that also exist in the environment. And viruses are microscopic living organisms that replicate inside other living organisms.
Can you tell us one that is of late a threat to the entire world? Virus.
The COVID-19 virus.
Thank you very much. Birds. Ryan Mwangi. Birds. You can give us birds that are also pests. When we were doing a study on Mwea, there were some type of birds that were very harmful as pests for the rice. Which ones did we mention? Or which one did we mention in particular? Rice, Mwea. Ni gani? Umesahau? Quelea birds. We talked of quelea, very stubborn and can eat the grains of rice, destroying the production, lowering the production. Then weeds that we know as offering risk or danger to plants or even a water body. Which ones are they? Weeds is for Okemwa, Ondari. Okemwa? Ondari. Weeds. Okemwa Ondari. Perhaps he's gone for lunch. Hapatikani kwa sasa, which is very bad.
I'm here.
You are there. Please give us something on weeds.
Weeds.
Yes.
Winds are strong, are air currents that blow across the Earth's surface, and they can sometimes be harmful and cause damage when they are very strong. For example, to buildings and crops, and can also blow away light goods that are on the ground.
Ondari, thank you. You've set your own question and answered it very well. I was talking about WEEDS.
Oh.
Pata?
Yes.
Yes.
Weeds are unwanted plants that grow among crops that people have planted, and they can become a menace when they compete with the plants that humans want, and they result to these crops being weak and not producing maximally as expected.
Thank you, Andari. You've done it so well. Those are weeds. Examples of weeds that we know on Lake Victoria. Inaitwa
Water hyacinth.
Water hyacinth. On River Nile, it is called the one found in River Nile. Anybody? Ondari amejaribu sana. On River Nile, it is SUD. SUD. That is called SUD or SUD. SUD, SUD or SUD. Hamtaki kusema pronunciation. Fine. Epidemic. Samuel Gakinya, epidemic. Or pandemic. Gakinya?
Yes.
Which ones are these? Or anything that you know on them, you can give us examples, you can give us what they are.
A pandemic results in a large amount of deaths of a specific species. So if it is crops, there will be a deficit of crops leading to food shortage.
Yes.
If it is human beings, to lead to a shortage of human labor.
Examples or an example? Sasa
Yes,
examples uko tu nayo hapo
COVID.
COVID-19 is one of them. Very good. HIV AIDS is another one. There are many. Cholera would be another one. Then we are on the last bit, pollution, land pollution. Duncan Mwangi.
Damn.
Land pollution. Duncan. Mwangi. Land pollution. Timothy Kamau. Noise pollution. Kamau. Wayne Philemon. Air pollution. Mulwa. Water pollution.
Water pollution occurs in, it is the contamination of water bodies with other substances that are harmful to their bodies. Yeah.
Thank you. So these are the selected hazards that we are going to talk about. Management and conservation of the environment simply covers almost all other areas. It is a general paper. It's a general paper completely. Therefore, we are going to handle each afresh. So we are starting with environmental hazards now. Environmental hazards, we are seeing the tropical cyclone here. It refers to occurrence in the environment that causes disturbance in the equilibrium or balance of an ecosystem. There are risks, they are called disasters, they are called dangers. They are natural catastrophes. But we should not say that these hazards are problems. They are not, because they are unpredictable. These hazards are unpredictable. The following are some of the environmental hazards that occur in different parts of the world. The first one here is tropical cyclones. Powerful wind like tropical cyclone cause havoc in the environment over which they prevail. The cyclones are formed by depression, areas of low pressure. They are called hurricanes in Caribbean, typhoons in Far East, willy willies in Australia, and tornadoes in North America. These are very powerful winds. The way we can see the photograph of a tropical cyclone here, the winds are gale, very strong winds that we can see. The pressure is low at the center, so from winds blow from high to low pressure. They are blowing to a smaller area. That is why it is very, very strong and very destructive. Tropical cyclones. Water spouts. We can see water being lifted, then the clouds are forming up there. Water lifted from the surface. So water spouts, these are violent, whirling wind that form funnel of water that cause turbulence in the inland water bodies. They are not on oceans, not seas, but could be on seas that are in inland bodies such as lakes. In Kenya, they have destroyed buildings, e.g. carrying away of classroom roofs, capsizing boats, and destroying fishermen's nets in Lake Victoria, where they are referred to as Nyakoi. Around Lake Victoria, they are very common, and buildings which are closer to the lake are destroyed when Nyakoi occurs. They are very, very strong. Seismic disturbances. We can see seismic disturbances. Seismic is an earthquake causing a lot of damage to buildings, interferes with transport and communication, and cause loss of life in settled areas. Be very careful when we are answering this question. We cannot just talk of loss of life, full stop. It has to be where people are settled, in settled areas. Mild earthquakes are called tremors. That is a reminder. If asked to give the types of earthquakes, you'll be talking about tremors. You'll be talking about the first one. The first one, nimesahau. Nani anakumbuka? Nani anakumbuka? You let me know. I know you have been, sensible, nimekumbuka. Sensible earthquake and tremors. Sensible earthquake and tremors for the types of earthquakes. Earthquakes may also cause tsunamis, like the one that occurred in 04 in the Pacific Highlands and felt up to the East African coast. When we talk of Pacific Highlands, obviously it is a water body that is bordering the highland, Pacific Ocean bordering the highland. An image showing that tsunami, we can see down here very well that water has moved inland. Water has moved quite a distance inland, destroying buildings. Trees are also there with water. We can see that. So seismic earthquakes or tsunami, very, very dangerous. Volcanic eruption. Volcanic activities are usually violent, resulting in damage to property and loss of life. For example, Mount Nyiragongo, DRC, erupted in 2000, killing more than 6,000 people and altering the ecosystem. Of course, things had to be displaced anyhowly because of this volcanic eruption. And we have an example, Mount Nyiragongo in DRC in the year 2000. Toxic gases. Whenever gas leakages in industrial plants occur, a lot of damage is witnessed. An accident on the nuclear reactor at Chernobyl in Russia, kitambo sana, 84, led to death of 5,000 people and hundreds were deformed. This one is the leakage of a gas. Very, very, very dangerous. Even in our own country, okay, this is toxic gases. I was about to talk about kerosene and the rest, oil, but it's okay. We will see that one later. Fires. Fires, we had not talked about it. Somebody brought it in sometimes back. Fires. Sometimes when we were talking about lightning, somebody brought fire can be, lightning can cause fire. Okay, on its own now, fires. Fierce fires on residential buildings are usually caused by kerosene, many because of stoves, candles, electrical faults. Such fires cause death and destroy property. In the year 2000, an oil pipeline exploded in Nigeria, killing 100 people in a radius of 20 kilometers. That radius, 100 people were killed because of fire brought about by explosion of the oil pipeline. And in our case, I think, if I'm not wrong, if I'm not forgetting, the place after Nakuru, it was Salga. Salga, our own people on these oil tankers. When some people go on the way trying to get themselves the oil, they've been killed by these fires due to oil spilling or the oil tank exploding. So that is, it was not expected. It becomes now a natural disaster or a risk, danger, as we mentioned it. Oil spills, tractors and lorries spill over, spill oil on roads, which not only make the roads slippery and dangerous, but also choke vegetation and may kill animals if it gets in rivers. In 05, a vessel spilled 150 tons of crude oil into the sea at the port of Mombasa. We can imagine if that is so, then some aquatic animals, fish, and the rest would just die. It is very, very dangerous. Oil spills, very, very dangerous. We have given an example about Salga on oil spills. So we are moving on. Drought and desertification. Drought is deficiency of water in the ground. Streams, lakes, and reservoirs resulting in prolonged deficiency of rain, e.g., the drought experience in the year 84. It makes millions of people vulnerable to food shortage. Drought brings famine, food shortage. We have an example of 84. I think that is when yellow maize was imported from US to come and save the situation. Our time is up, but here are some of our hazards. We go through them before we conclude. The hazards and their problems. So we've mentioned hazards are not problems. Hazards are unforeseen, but problems may be known. So here are some floods. What is the problem with it? Loss of life and or property. Lightning, loss of life or property. Windstorms, soil erosion, loss of property. Pests and diseases, loss of life, and again, property. Pollution, it causes pollution, and we know air pollution will cause respiratory problems. We know land pollution, what it can do to the soil where we grow crops. We know of noise pollution can do a lot of damage to our ears. Drought will give us famine or drought, lack of, or rather shortage of food. Earthquakes, loss of life, property in settled areas. Volcanic eruptions, loss of life or property. Desertification will give us desertification, of course, that one land that cannot be able to give us enough food or cannot be of help in the agricultural world unless rehabilitation has taken place. Epidemics will give us diseases. Nuclear waste, harmful radiation, destructive human activities will give us overgrazing, overcropping, overpopulation. Very, very important to have these hazards in mind. Then impacts of selected environmental hazards and measures to combat them. We can do this very shortly. We started late, just 3 minutes. Then I leave you to go for lunch or to sleep. Impacts of selected environmental hazards and measures to combat them. Floods. This is the usual covering of an area by water through a temporary rise in the river, lake, or ocean or sea level. It is overflow of large amount of water over dry land. Overflow of large amount of water over dry land. A river floods when its channel is unable to accommodate, we talked of excess water, to accommodate the discharge from the catchment. The eroded material from high rainfall highlands is carried downhill and deposited in the banks of the river at the old age stage. Where the position is extensive, much of the river water spills over the banks to find their way into the plains. Plains is where now we have the old stage. The floodplain of a river may be extended into the sea by the formation of deltas. Excess water that cannot be accommodated within the channel is going to be spilled over, and it will cause the area to flood. In Kenya, flooding is common in the low-lying areas served by rivers Nyando, Nzoia, Kuja, River Tana. River Nyando, for example, originates from the Nandi Hills and is responsible for the annual flooding of Kano Plains between March and April. Factors that lead to frequent flooding in parts of Kenya. 3 factors that lead to frequent flooding in parts of Kenya. 1, most of the land is low-lying, which causes the rainwater to spread over a wide area. For example, the lowlands in the old stages of rivers, Nyando, Nzoia, Tana, Kuja, and Sondu. Miriu is included there. Sondu is the same Sondu Miriu and prone to frequent flooding. You hear of the Aero area, almost every year we have floods in the region because it is low-lying. B, the adjacent highlands receive torrential rainfall, very high rainfall, which releases large volumes of water, resulting to rivers overflowing their banks. That is the second reason why we have floods in Kenya. Torrential, very high rainfall in the catchment areas. 3, silt has filled the riverbeds, making them shallow, thus spilling their waters over the banks. Thus spilling their water over the banks. Another reason, the rivers in the flood-prone areas are at their old stage. Thus, they have wide floodplains which allow water to spread over large areas. Most of these areas have black cotton soil, which is non-porous, and when soaked up, allows water to flow and spread over the surface. The high amount of rainwater discharged into lakes like Victoria make the levels to rise, thus flooding the adjacent lowlands. For example, 62, the following the heavy, very high rainfall that was experienced, the low-lying area of Victoria was flooded. And we would equate that to El Nino. A periodic rise of sea level along the Indian Ocean sometimes cause intrusion of seawater and flooding in some low-lying coastal plains. The Lamu area was in 1962 affected by the heavy, high discharge of the river. That river is River Tana into the ocean. So these are the reasons why we are having flooding in our country, Kenya. And we will end there. We'll continue with the topic next time, God willing. Hello. Imani. Imani. Victor.
Yes. Yes.
Bado muko?
Yeah.
Nimekuona. Sasa we end up there, we will proceed next time. Tuko sawa?
Okay.
Yeah, mwalimu.
Tuko sawa?
Tuko sawa.
Sawa. Sawa sawa. So next time. Chenjo ulikuwa wapi? Ochieng. Chenjo. Ochieng Chenjo.
Yes.
Ulikuwa wapi? Hujajibu maswali? Ulikuwa? Ama ndio umekuja?
Niliingia late kidogo.
Ingia late kidogo, sawa sawa. Okay, we are almost through with flooding as one of the dangers, disasters. Hazard, we will proceed from there. Sawa?
Yes. Yes.
Aya, bye.
Bye.
Bye.